welcome to my channel. Just a bit of a WiPnChat. I'm doing my Victorian Moon horse. You can see her. I think I've called it Black Stallion, so yeah, him. I did some yesterday. I will show you some close-up photos of this section here. You can see with the lights that there are gaps. Let me turn it off. You can't see them there. The background actually works really well. But I have got some close-ups to show you. The blacks in this, yeah, not really happy. In fact, with the multi-placing, I've almost got half a square vacant because of the way it's been either picking up the drills or whatever it's been doing. Mostly blacks. This is 823, 3799, 939 and 310 is in this section. Its shading is subtle as anything. The single placer is certainly the best way to go, but with such huge amounts of color blocking, no. I would just like to make some headway, and haven't made headway in such a long time on this. I have one other DAC on the go. The Christmas tree is going to be put away until maybe next year. I've made the Christmas tree. I need to do the background. So what I'll probably do is aim to do that in November so that I can actually put a Christmas tree up in a picture. Next Christmas, when December 1st rolls around, we can put a Christmas tree up. So that would be my goal for that. Goals for the next few DPs. You may recall, and if I remember, I'm actually not going to remember, so give me a second. Might as well use my diary. Let me put that over there to protect it. Pen. Note, I'm about 2.5 minutes in, and I want to what was I going to say? Not the Christmas tree. But I'll remember for my links. Okay, brain's gone. Stupid. Alright, projects, yes. The Evermoment 911 project. I need to kit that up, and I will work on that over the next 9 months, which are actually going to fly by, and I would like to have it finishing for the 9/11 20th anniversary. So that's a longer term aim. You might not actually see progress on that except on Instagram. What I will be doing is probably recording it while I'm listening to YouTube. I'll do it fast forward so you've got a time lapse. That's how that's going to work. I Miss You is another fairly big project. I'm actually trying to get licensing permission from a company for the songs that I want to play, songs, and I need to get back in touch with them and say, right, you've kind of ignored my request initially, I'm now going to escalate it. The normal licensing application has more to do with media, like movies and stuff like that, so it's not really a run-of-the-mill license application to be able to use it in the video. So if I can't get it, I actually don't quite know what I'm going to do if I can't get it. With regard to music, generic music, yes, will work, but it wasn't my ideal. So that's a project in the back of the works. That's for longer term projects. This is a predominantly black project. If you can see from the image, there's a little bit of greys through either side, but then it's going to go into black and then some highlights. So I also want to have a color project as a second WiPnChat. I haven't picked out what I'm going to do for that. I've got so many to choose from. So that will be the next big thing, I guess, in picking a colourful picture. I have my pre-Christmas arrival unboxings from Diamond Art Club still to go through. I have videos in the pipeline to edit, so you will be getting more of those. I have some more resin stuff from Sophie and Toffee, which is fun to work on. Time consuming from the point of view that you need to let the things set. If it's a UV, if it's an overnight thing, well, it's kind of set and forget it. This month in December, I haven't opened it yet, but I am going to potentially later. When I open it, there is apparently pigments in it, so and I got a resin mold as well that I need to open and let rest because it may possibly be scrunched up. So I may need to put some weights onto that one to make it work. So yeah, looking forward to seeing what's in the Sophie and Toffee box for December. Sorry, this would be the January box. The December was the December blowout box, so I've already received that one. So this one should be the I think it's a game console mold, but I'll keep you posted on that one. I need a smaller, let's go with the 6, yeah. What else is going on? I drew my winner video for a Christmas gift bonus for the premieres. If you haven't already checked out the premiere playlist, please go do that. There is 47 hours plus of premieres that happened on Christmas Eve, Christmas Day around the world. Not everything is necessarily Christmas related, so don't feel that you have to be in the Christmas season to be watching them. Part of that, there are behind the scenes videos that you may enjoy, seeing how my weird brain works and how spreadsheets come into play with organising so many creators into an event like this. What else? I probably need to get around to maybe thanking people personally with a little note. I'm not necessarily the best at doing the whole personal notes afterwards. I have thanked people on videos, but not everyone watches me, so yeah, I need to thank people and know or let them know that they are very much valued for what they did for me. So I'm going to need to make some time to do that. What else is going on? It's January, it's summer. I have no... Where is my macaron? Oops. Alright. I keep my blue tack in my macaron. That's it. Tiny dab. I must get my paddy wax organised as well. And I need to put things away off my desk. It's getting quite mental. So yeah, with the blue tack on the end, it will form, it will spread out just like the paddy wax does, and then you just nip it in the bud and squeeze it off. I squeeze it off, I push it back on, and that little bit that I get, oops, I usually, I think it's kind of rolled off the desk though, I usually stick it on the side of the pen, so it's kind of handy when I need to do a refill. That will take a fifth. Now, with the multi-placer, now you're not really seeing what I've just done there. I've got 3 in a row, and then I've got a space, and then I've got 1. And I've actually just made a space, and there is my placement with the 4, with the gap, and put it down. So don't feel like you can't use the multi-placer as an overall, you know, gaps included kind of thing. You can be quite strategic with these multi-placers. Yeah, I've been working on this and realized, yeah, I really don't like double-sided sticky tape. Shock horror, because most of my DPs initially were all double-sided tape. But now I'm like Mrs. Coffee, and it's like, nope, sorry, gonna be a snob. They don't move, so when you've got the gaps, they kind of stay there. And because they're probably an undersized square drill to the canvas square, it's a little bit more noticeable. The black isn't against a black background, it's actually against green. Yeah, it's against green. So it's not going to shine through when it's complete, but yeah, black background would be better. The drills themselves are kind of okay-ish. There's, mind you, I'm placing one and it's got a funky kind of side, so yeah, they're not brilliant. But Victoria Moon were giving these to all and sundry. I don't know how well they're taking on board any of the YouTubers' criticism of their drills, how much improvement they have done. I have gone onto the site, and when I got the chance to order from Victoria Moon, there was something like 8 pages of horses, I felt. Now there's 4, maybe there was only 4, but it feels like the choice is less than it was, and from that point of view, my horse is no longer available if it was something that you did like. So I was having minor moments of panic this morning going, I know I downloaded a picture, and where was it? So my old computer, in my saved video section. So yeah, I knew I wasn't going mad. But all the more important for saving my screenshots at the time of doing the order. What else is happening? This weekend, Diamond Art Club kicked in their new releases, sneak peeks again. Jojo's Art is back with a gorgeous image of a black, it looks like a black lion cub and then a full-grown lion behind him, in very Jojo style piece. That looked gorgeous. This the sexiest woman. That image that you will get to see if you haven't already seen it. Oh, yeah, really. My husband's gonna go, woo! Yeah. What else? There's that cute cartoon, and there was Oh, brain fart. I think it might be a Hannah. No, it wasn't a Hannah Lynn. What was it? There was the girl. I'm going to have to jump on my email. Diamond Art Club actually came on to... wrong account. Diamond Art Club came on to Mrs. Coffee's live yesterday and showed us photos. Here we go. Oh yes, it was Cleopatra kind of style with the leopards. Donnie has that unboxing sneak peek. Yeah, so if you are into big cats, Robin, if you're watching, go check it out. Yeah, the big cats are back. And if you like Egypt, the big cats are back. Very, very cute. Image, lots of detail. But here, let me show you. This will be going out after Monday, so you will have seen this no doubt already. But yeah, the candy kind of girl, the little cartoony thing, a little bit Christmassy kind of, but it's getting past Christmas. I don't know how that's going to go down as a sale image. The sitting on the mint kind of thing is all kinds of cute, but it's coming into winter for the States, so if you aren't already in winter, you're going to get it soon, so maybe that's the kind of thing that will appeal. I don't know. But the kind of gypsy belly dancer thing, yeah, I don't know. I have a friend who actually belly dances. Well, she does more than just belly dancing, but she does all kinds of dancing. Her and her husband go dancing regularly. But yeah, I've probably got the body for it, but I don't know that I would want to do it. Somebody with a big belly. Somebody with the back and hips that can move probably is the thing too. I really don't think I've got that. I don't know if it would give me core improvement. All I know is, at the moment, they go on date nights. On a Thursday night, it's their dance night. And my boss doesn't get home until like 2:30 in the morning. Yeah, on a work night, or on a school night, as we call it. It's like, that's insane. I definitely don't have the energy for that. And he was saying he didn't have the energy for it back in his 20s either. So I'm not sure if he knows where he gets the energy from. But yeah, it's a bit of fun teasing him. Oh, I keep putting these down in the wrong spot and I'm missing my alignment. Goodness. I need 4. These are the skinny placers. The skinny placers are so good. The chubby ones that you get free on AliExpress with your kits, or free with Diamond Art Club, or you know, the editions that you do get as a freebie are horrible in comparison to the skinnies. The skinnies are, I don't know who came up with the idea of doing a slimline version, but they're fantastic. If you can get your hands on them. I got mine from Beth at Shine Like a Diamond, I think. I got 2 full sets. Check out my unboxings recently because it's in there. Yeah, I got 2 full sets of the multi-placers in the slimline, so that they will last for a little bit. As I say, I've got to set them up with my paddy wax. I placed another order for paddy wax during at the beginning of the week, I think. I went and checked what stock Robin had, and she had quite a bit, so I placed an order for, I think, 3 blocks this time, to give me a bit of a choice and to make the most of the shipping, because yeah, shipping is a bit mental. So that's going to be here probably the week after next, given shipping times. Looking forward to that. So I've got my coffee and my fir tree already, and I think I might have ordered a lemon or a citrus and a spiced pear, and I can't remember what else. It's kind of handy forgetting what you've ordered and then you get surprised at the other side. My phone has been going absolutely bonkers this morning with notifications, and Sophie has been wanting my company, let's just say. She's been sitting right next to me pretty much all morning, and she keeps calling me Day? Yeah, it's kind of like Daddy with it, but she's calling both my husband and I the same thing. Sometimes she changes it, and she'll say Daddy to him, but I'm Di, or something similar to that. And she was sitting right next to me, so I've got a step stool that I bought up in the tip shop a couple of weeks ago for her to sit on, thinking that she'd actually sit on it next to me when I was diamond painting or something, but no, she just climbs up on it and then tries to climb over onto me, so it hasn't really worked for the purpose. But today she's been sitting on the steps because I wouldn't let her up onto my lap because I was busy, I don't know, typing or something, trying to actually get set up to record this, and between her and the messages flying, it was just not going to happen. I'm kind of going, oh my god, I just want to get some recording done. So, yeah, she's been sitting on the step stool, and then she was getting her bunny Flopsy, the flat microfiber toy that she's got, that's her snuggle buddy, and she was getting him, and she was kind of, you know, tossing him over her shoulder, and so he was sitting under her seat, and she's going, Day? And I'm going, I'm not looking at you. And she goes, Day? And she keeps on calling me until I turn and look at her, and I can't help it, but I just crack up laughing. And she's cracking up laughing at me, so she's knowing that exactly what she's doing, and yeah. The child. And then she starts chattering to me, and I haven't got a clue what she's saying, because she's speaking Sophie speak still. So you might get one word in, I don't know, 20. So yeah, it's just, it's an interesting conversing time. And then she has been fighting sleep all morning. Excuse me, tea. It's getting cold. I need a refill. Okay. I might stick with the middle one for now. Okay. So yeah, she's been fighting sleep all morning. So lunchtime comes around. Pizza. She's not really interested in hers. And then she decides that she's going to snuggle up next to me on the couch, and she doesn't normally like it when I hold her hand, but I was able to hold her hand, and she doesn't like it when I put my hand on her feet, so she moves them, and this time around she wasn't moving them at all, and yeah, next thing I know she's conked out next to me. So I nudge my husband, and you know, have a bit of a smile, and then carried her off to bed. I think I might have too many in the tray. Let's see if I go. Come on. Here we go. There's a couple of hundred right there and available. Okay. I have a blob. It goes straight into the bin. It is only rubbish. Okay, doesn't really matter where you pick these up from. The glue on this one is not terribly good. Okay, now, when it comes to multi-placing, I'm going to renew this, so give me a second while I fish out my macaron again. Now, when it comes to multi-placing, a video I have been recommending of late, because I watched it and I actually learned heaps from it, is Roanna's video on DIY Moonshop. She videoed doing the multi-placing, and I practiced her technique, and I've been telling other people how to do it since, because it's worked for me. So basically what I do now, so I've got my extra blob, I stick that on my washi tape holders just nearby so I can grab it again. Okay, so basically what you do is you checkerboard with the multi-placer. So you put it down in checkerboard. So can you see? Those two lines are offset, and it will make sense to you in just a second. So you get those, you place it down, and you start checkerboarding. Now, it doesn't really matter where you go. So I know I've got a gap. Now I've got a gap at both ends. It really doesn't matter, because the technique she was doing will probably make sense when it's finished, because this is just about getting drills on the canvas. All I'm doing is getting the first square, getting it in line. So I'm concentrating on one end only, getting it in line and putting it straight down. These drills, for some reason, are going on a damn sight better than those ones. The gapping is almost perfect. I don't know what's going on. The other ones, I don't know, maybe I mushed them up a bit. They just had gaps and seemed to be short, and same bag of drills. I wish I had other 310s to be able to test this theory with. Well, I do. I've probably got enough 310s in Evermoment old kit to be able to do a comparison, but I don't want to have a glaring section that's really different. Take off those couple of odds. And I'm placing carefully. I'm not rushing the whole thing. Okay, I'm not necessarily taking the whole length of the drill either, the drill stick. Sometimes I am, sometimes I'm not. Let's do this. So what I'm doing is making sure I'm picking it all up, and then making sure I'm getting them all down on the first go. I'm not moving, I'm not wiggling, I'm not scrunching. I'm just placing. And then if I need to reposition, well, hopefully I don't need to reposition. Alright, now, reload. Give it a bit of a shake to get them the right way around, and tip them off again. When I first started out, I was kind of going, you know, what exactly is 100 drills? This is a 10 placer. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. That's 100 drills. In that section that you can see there, that's about 100 drills or more. So that's a pretty quick placement. Okay, so don't think that you need to have, you know, the most ginormous tray to make progress. I think that's about 9. Let's go, yeah, maybe an 8. Okay, another thing I do is I don't stress about the ones on the end. I've gone into the next row just a little bit, so what I'm going to do is straighten up with this row. So I'm going to try and place this row and push. They've kind of gone butted up next to each other, and I've given them a bit of a push. Now this is starting to pick up or leave gaps, but again they will get filled in a minute, and I've gone and knocked my drills and lost my pretty lines. So my hand is over the spout here as well, so I can shake it right down to the end without a huge amount of concern of them spilling, and then I tip it back into my hand in the corner. And again, you can see all this pile. This is all, you know, miscellaneous drills. There's a gap here. If you can just, oops. If you can see here, there's a gap, and if you can see here, there's a gap, right? I'm not concerned that there's gaps, because what I do is I get the end of the drills and push to get no gaps, and that's a nice tight line. Okay, I know it's not in focus, but it's a nice tight line, and then they will just place. See? The other thing I do after I've placed is use the roller. I will always go over with both my hand and the roller to make sure there aren't any stray drills. I've got one too many. And the thing with this being the skinny, it actually seems to fit in between the rows when you come to doing your second row. So while you could potentially use the fat placers, I would probably only want to use it for the first placement, not for the second. Same way as if I'm using this. I have done a diamond painting with the wax tip. I will place the initial with this because it only needs the lightest touch, and then I will ram it home with that metal end, which you can fit wax in. I know people are kind of going, I don't know what to do with them, or I don't like them. They're actually a brilliant, brilliant pen. You can get replacement heads for them. One thing I did find when I did was that the two pens I had initially bought had a different thread size to the heads that I bought at a later date, and that really, really annoyed me, the fact that the heads were different. And I think I ended up making a complaint to the seller saying, you need to show the thread size. And they were like, we sell for the replacement pens, or you can just buy the pen. And it's like, that's not the point. I bought this for a specific tool and didn't know that there was any difference until I go to try and fit it, and of course it doesn't fit. So I have wax heads that fit only one pen, which was the pen I ended up getting from Victoria Moon, and not from the store that I bought 2 pens from because I really liked them. But yeah, I do really like those pens. So please give them a go. They're awesome pens for rhinestones. Absolutely awesome. I actually did a section of this yesterday, listening to Mrs. Coffee's live. I think some of the beauty with a 3-hour live, some of the beauty, is the fact that this maybe takes an hour of my time, give or take, doing a full section. So I knew I could get a bit of this done and chat and feel like I had some progress. And I think I also did this. I did 2 leaves. I'm terrible at embroidery. It looks like a dog's dinner to me. But I did 2 leaves of my Sassy January. Well, it's not actually January only. It's Sassy Craft Along project. If you are in any way, shape or form crafty and you would like to join in with something that's a little bit cheeky, let's say. Doesn't have to be rude. It just needs to maybe have a little bit of sass. If you want to be rude, be rude. But it's just the sassy craft along. I'm doing embroidery. Mrs. Coffee's doing her toilet roll that says assholes everywhere. Other people are doing cross stitch that swears. They're adapting work. Some people are doing diamond paintings. Some suggestion has been given if you wanted to do one of the nudie diamond paintings that apparently are all over AliExpress that I haven't seen. Then now is the time to do it. If you're going to do anything with nipples, you're going to get banned from Instagram. So, you know, cover the nipples. Put a cover minder on the nipples or something. I don't know. But yeah, let's have some fun, have a bit of, you know, cheeky play, and yeah, join in. There's a whole bunch of us doing it, and yeah, you might see a project that you might like to do, you might see a craft you might like to do as well, because, as I say, this is encouraging all kinds of crafts. So it's not strictly diamond painting or anything else. So if you have an idea, get to it. It is actually running until March. I thought it was just going to be January, but it's not now. So to give everyone a chance to get their stuff, because maybe not everyone was in the live when Mrs. Coffee was originally talking about it, and now people are going, oh, I want to do this. So more people are now wanting to get on board. So it's the Sassy Craft Along, hashtag Sassy Craft Along, and the other hashtag is Sassy Not Classy. So I'm sure she's got that off Patriotic Beauty, because she's all kinds of sassy. Yeah, so cheeky, tongue-in-cheek even, but yeah, let's have some fun. Where else are we up to? I know a lot of people are very, very concerned about bushfires. Saw an update this afternoon from Rachel. Oh, good Lord. I just got a message from Patriotic Beauty. Yeah. It was just her way of wording. She's, yeah. Oh dear. She's asking if we're safe. But it was just how she said it. Yeah, it was just... Okay. Tassie, yes, we are safe. We have had some bushfires and they have been dealt with. The mainland, not so good. Rachel Treasure in Treasure Studios Arts in Wook Wook She has had some fires around the Bairnsdale area in Victoria. She's posted some photographs today of where they are in relation to the bushfires. They're reasonably close, but I think what's happening is the weather is changing, which means that the worst of the fire is actually going to kill any fuel that it's got going, and it won't actually be able to get going back into the next section. So she may be okay. That's not to say that that's a definite and nothing else is going to go wrong, because fires and wind sometimes can be a little bit unpredictable, especially on a fire front where it generates its own weather system. You may have seen some footage, if you're at all socially aware of bushfires creating their own little tornadoes of fire, and bushfires in Australia, because we have the gum tree, which is an oil based tree to withstand the heat in this country. The oil vapor sits on top of the trees. It actually, in the summertime, you can actually see this shimmer above the trees on the headland, on the hillsides. And that shimmer is the oil, and that shimmer probably goes for about half the height of the trees again. It's just vapor. So when you do get a firestorm, it's that vapor that just explodes in the middle of the air, and yeah, it's like hell on earth.
I've heard them referred to as fireweeds.
Fireweeds, my husband says they are sometimes referred to. They are designed to regenerate in the fires. The seeds fall off the trees on the ground, and they don't germinate until fire comes through. So they're resilient as all hell, but they need fire to germinate, to create. So this is all a cycle of nature, and there's nothing necessarily unnatural in the bushfires. The unnatural bit is the ferocity of the bushfires and the fact that we haven't got the land management happening, maybe in the traditional aspect, to cull some of this undergrowth in a more timely fashion. Humans have got more city-based. We've probably had more of an outcry because it's, government land or something, and there hasn't been the traditional burning off, as I mentioned before.
They didn't evolve that way with humans around.
No, it just happened. It was just wildfires. Yeah, the waste isn't being burnt off as a regular basis. So the waste is there sitting like fuel, unnaturally growing. And it grows really fast. What happens with these trees? Okay, let me try and describe gum trees to you. The gum tree it's not a fat tree. They grow very, very tall, and they're some of the tallest trees in the world. I think the redwoods are like some of the next bigger trees, but some of these gums are huge. So the trunks of those big ones can be reasonably big, but the thing is that it's gravity pushing the fuel, the oil, through the tree, rather than water going, with the whole capillary action. So they get to a point where they get too tall, and gravity, the capillary action stops, and the top of the tree falls off, that kind of thing. So you've got the top of the tree falling off down to the understory. You've also got the bark on the very outside edge of the tree is not really the bark in the traditional sense of a normal broadleaf tree that you would be used to in the US. So the bark of the tree is kind of like the outer layer of your skin. It peels off and it ribbons down the side of the tree. So you're still left with your whole skin layers. The actual bark of the tree, the real bark of the tree, can be up to an inch or so thick. And it's highly insulating. It makes an awesome fuel when it does burn off. And the actual wood inside the tree it can be much, much smaller by comparison. So I know this from wood chopping and things like that, when we're actually breaking down trees, and you kind of think, oh yeah, there's a sizable log. Well, no, because once that outer bark comes off, you're left with these kind of branches by comparison. So it's a huge, huge difference. So you've got these oily kind of trees. They're fantastic fuel. They burn hot and they burn fast when they're dry. So you've got these dead treetops that are falling down into the understory. You've got this oil being produced by the leaves sitting above the treetop. And then you've got all of this undergrowth of, they call it sawgrass here. It will rip a man to shreds. It's got these little sharp edges on these really long, spindly grass-like things. Do you remember when we had the DP-a-thon in October and I was talking about the horror stories, not necessarily horror stories, ghost stories, of convicts escaping from Port Arthur and going bush? Well, the guards never really thought that they needed to guard the bush because the bush was so hostile to human life that there was no need to put guards on the bush. It was, you were pretty much Day of the Triffids out there. You had sawgrass cutting you, you had leeches going to attack you, you had all sorts of bugs and bacteria with the sawgrass would get into the cuts. You'd die from infections in the heat in next to no time. So it was like, you go bush, you're going to die pretty nastily too. So it's a really inhospitable country, and you've got all of this stuff growing in the undergrowth. You've got these dry bark shreds. We actually have a tree called a ribbon tree. We've also got trees called the stringy bark. The stringy bark is, if you've ever seen felting, wool felting, stringy bark looks like it's been felted on the outside of the tree. It's these ripples of kind of woolly bark finish. I don't know if I've got any photos of it to be able to insert it, but it's a fascinating tree. It's got all this texture and...
That's flowering.
Sorry?
It's a flowering gum.
It's a flowering gum, I'm told.
Well, that's where you get stringy bark honey.
Oh yeah, you can get stringy bark honey. But yeah, it's yes, we do. We have this weirdly hostile country. It's, you know, we joke that everything in Australia is out to kill you. I actually, on Rachel Treasure Studios page, she's posted a picture, and I'm not sure if it's hers or not, I have asked, but it's of a volunteer firey in the yellow jumpsuits giving a koala a drink of water from her water bottle. The animals are getting to a point where they don't care that a human is at the other end of this water bottle. They just will take the water. I did see a really horrific picture of a kangaroo caught in a fence. Yeah, that was not nice. There's another picture that apparently is making the international headlines in the UK of a large red bounding in front of the background with the fire. And because we don't have natural predators in Australia, other than humans, the animals they're wary of humans, but they're not necessarily, they're not a prey animal, so they don't necessarily flee on initial contact. They have learned to in some cases, but it's not like when you've got prey and predators like your mountain lions and your wolves. It's a little bit different here. So the animals here will actually seek out humans for food, for water. I suppose an example of this is 2 days ago, I went to feed Mocha out front, and when I pulled back the curtain to look out the front door, a wallaby is sitting right at my front door. And I live in suburbia. A wallaby is sitting right at my front door eating Mocha's dog food that he had left over from the previous night. In a true prey predator scenario, that wouldn't happen. Those animals would be skittish, hiding up in the bush, and we wouldn't see them. Now, you don't tend to see them much, but this was 7:30 in the morning, 7 o'clock in the morning, and we've got a kangaroo sitting outside. We've come home in the evening and the kangaroos are sitting over on our neighbour's lawn, just eating the wallabies. They're bush kangaroos. They're little grey kangaroos. But they're
not kangaroos.
okay. But they're wallabies. Technically, their name is kangaroo. But anyway, I've shown pictures of 3 on our garden just down below the lounge here. You know, they're not bothered by dogs. They're not bothered by cats. We don't have the big predatory animals. Dingo certainly eat, you know, wildlife. Our Tassie devils usually only eat dead meat. We just do not have the hunters in Australia. What we do have in, you know, the crazy critters are, you know, the spiders and the snakes and things like that. But generally our animals, you know, are really kind of cuddly. Yeah, except for the drop bears. That, you know, I don't know why we joke that the drop bears are such a thing, but it's funny because they're koala and they're not even koala bears. Okay, they're not koala bears. They're not bears. They are marsupial. Yes, they are, because they've got a pouch and they carry their young and all sorts of strange behaviours. But koalas are the drop bears. I think it's just those, you know, funny stories that we tell our kids kind of thing, or we tell tourists just because, you know, everything in Australia is out to kill you. It really isn't. Although, yeah, snakes and spiders, stay away from them. I tend to be fairly merciless with the spiders. Not a big spider fan. And snakes, well, I'll actually look at a snake. Now, you see now how I finished this area with the multi-placer. I'm picking up, this is a 6-placer, I'm picking up 3s, I'm picking up 2s, and I have picked up 1s. So now I'm on to 2 spots. I'm still using the multi-placer. Okay. So you can see how versatile using a multi-placer can be. And this was what I learned from watching Roanna. And that was basically by checkerboarding. If you were able to keep an eye on what I was doing. And then it's just a case of filling in the gaps as they get smaller, smaller, smaller. So I'm using the 2 position now. I'm just picking them up at the end. What I could do, okay, this is what I could do. There's 2. I've got 2 on my pen. Sorry, I've got dark nails, so you're probably not seeing the comparison. There's another 2. So now I've got 4, right? I don't have 2 and 2 that close together, but look. Here's 2, and here's 2. I've just placed 4 in the space of what would take me much, much longer doing that 1 by 1. So, just because you think, I don't have a 2-placer, you don't need to have a 2-placer. And then there's another 2. That's 4 placed straight away. So, if you learn from that technique, please, please, please take it. Do not be afraid of multi-placing. Do not be afraid of squares. I had a message this morning from a fellow crafter, creator, DPer, saying that she was really nervous about doing squares, and she's actually doing Diamond Art Club. And I said, don't be. You're using the best drills that you probably could. You'll be fine. And I think she was worried because of the very initial placing of squares, it doesn't look like it's going down very well. It looks like it's higgledy-piggledy, and when you look at it through the lightpad, it looks horrendous. I'm actually really, really happy with this section in comparison to this, and there was nearly as much black. I don't know why it placed differently. Maybe it was the way I was vertically putting them down. Don't know. But much, much happier. There's a bit of funkiness going on in this bit, and as I say, this might take a little bit of nudging, but I think I'm probably fairly stuck with the gapping. But as I say, when it's finished and the light pad is not behind it and you're not sitting there looking at it a foot away from the canvas, which you're not meant to do. Please don't do that. Yes, look at it close up if you want to be critical of something in particular, or you want to see how it works, you want to see where the facets are, but you don't watch a TV close up, so do not look at these close up. Stand back, you won't see the pixels. And in the days before OLED, LED, I was going to say LSD and all of that kind of crap, but in the old TV days where you had 3 little colours making all of your picture of your screen, there's no way in hell you would have been able to watch the TV so that you could see all those 3 little colours. You're far too close to it. Same thing with this. Okay? And there you go. Done. Can't really see the gaps. It's going to be in a frame. It's going to be, you know, blocked off and everything else. And there is my horse beginning to take shape. I can see the 939s with that subtle, look at that glimmer. That glimmer is just gorgeous. You can see the 939s in these tracks through giving the shading. It's absolutely incredible. So while I might have some funky gapping here, I'm only going to see it if I look up quite close and if I want to stand and look at it. So I'm not going to be putting this necessarily in a place where I'm standing right next to it. I'm going to put it in a place where I have to stand back, and it's going to look just fine. So it does look just fine to the camera, so that's okay. So quite happy with that to a point. Yes, there's gapping, not happy with the gapping, but it's not the worst in the world. And I'd rather gapping than popping, because popping, just when you've got drills that pop up all the damn time, it's frustrating. So frustrating. This, I've got something happening here. It could be a large drill or it could be up. No, it was up. But again, it's down to the tactile, and I'm not really feeling an awful lot. I will go over it again with the roller pretty much every time I do it. And do a new section. I will go back over just to make sure they're home. But yeah, that's good. I have to say, when I went from Huacan to Evermoment, there was such a stark contrast between the quality of the drills and the finished project. It was incredible, and Evermoment was an absolute pleasure to work on. Now the only other thing I'm going to do is I'm going to get these back now. I think I'll only go to here. What I do? I might use this. No, not that blue. What did I use? I have a grey. Here's my washi tape. I don't know which washi tape I used. Oh, maybe this one. Is that it? That's it. Alright. These little holder things for washi tapes are really quite handy. I've got 6 stacked up here. Oh, sticking. Right, let me attempt to move this where you can see it. Get my washi tape back. Alright. I know this is going to have a join. It's really not that big of a deal. That's not helpful. This is not old washi tape either. But masking tape can have a tendency to do this, and that's tear. Alright, there we go. Trying to get this so that you can at least see some of what I'm doing. So, I'll anchor it down, and I'm going to be cutting off that edge, so let's not worry about the end. And what I'm trying to do is just hug the sides of these drills. Okay, and then I can lay it down. And the really light tack of the washi tape and the sticky of the edge of the canvas kind of gives it that extra bit of stick, but it will still peel off if you get it right. Let me see if I can keep going with this. I've got 3 or 4 more sections, less than I thought I had. Another thing that Victoria Moon did is they're using this Twin Adhesive USA tape as opposed to the Sonor tape that we're probably more familiar with on AliExpress. Double-sided tapes. There's nothing wrong with it, except it tends to feel a bit materialistic after a little while. It must have fibre through it. Now I'm going to trim that off at an angle. I'm going to put these back down. They will cover that sticky. I'll give this a trim and put it down. It probably will peel up. It has peeled up in the past because it's such a light tack with the washi tape, and it's done. So that side is done. It's protected down that sticky, and I can keep it clean. This one, what did I do? That one has still got sticky on it, but what I actually need to do is cut it potentially off because I don't want to block that. It's clear. Maybe I just put my elbow on it one too often. Yeah. So that's going to stop the very sticky edge. So look, I'm done. You've got to see me put down some washi tape. You've got to see me doing some multi-placing, and as I say, if I can, I will link Rowanna's multi-placing video. I really think it's a really good video. I have heard other people praising Mrs. Coffee for a multi-placing video that she did recently. I haven't paid attention if I did watch it, so I'm not going to link that just yet, but if I do get around to watching it, I will probably be linking it in the future, so keep an eye on that, or just keep your ears posted. And yeah, if I find videos that I think will help, I may either link them in a playlist, or you'll see them around, or I'll be referencing them in my own videos. So yeah, and I keep these because it's a nice rectangle. I will keep those to be used at a later date. I don't know if that's... These colours are also similar. It probably is a black though. Again, that tip with sliding open the Ziploc bags, that's in another video. If I remember, again, I will try and link it. I won't necessarily have it in the... I could put it in the eye. Oh. Right, time for some desk management. I will do some tidying up. I hate clutter. It drives me nuts. Alright, so I need the multi-placing video. And what else did I say? I've gone blank. I'll have to re-listen to the end and see what I said. Alright, I'm out of here. Thank you very much for watching. I hope you enjoyed my WiPnChat. Yes, we are safe in Tasmania. Please give a thought to the people in the mainland. There are fundraisers being run. If you look carefully, please make sure it is a fire website that it's giving reference to. There's Celeste, someone or other is doing one for the trustee of the New South Wales Rural Fire Service. Yeah, that's the kind of thing that you need to be giving to. Don't give to necessarily the smaller agencies, because what's going to happen is that funding is going to then be branched out to the places that really need it. Unless you know people personally, please don't give to a GoFundMe account other than the ones that say that they're going to a reputable source, because your money could be getting misdirected. So please be wise. If you do want to give funds, or you want to give resources to any kind of charities, please be careful, do your research before you give to just anybody, and the money doesn't go where it's meant to be going. But yes, money is going to be certainly wanted for resources, whether it's food, clothing, emergency services in the short term, or it's going to be long-term things. That's what insurance is for, and there is bushfire disaster relief services here in Australia, so I'm not quite sure where the funding goes, but give it to the reputable people who know where they can fund it best. We can't create water out of nothing, but we can at least rehome people. We can make sure that the crews have the right gear. Maybe it will be new fire trucks, maybe it will be a new fire station, who knows. Yeah, so just, yeah, be wise with your money, but thank you very much, and people certainly do need your prayers. I don't know what the weather is going to be, whether we're expecting rain in any time soon, but it'd be nice maybe if the wind died down and the fireys get to do what they need to do with putting the fires out, and just give them a bit of reprieve. And that doesn't end for them, because they're still going to have to monitor these fires for months. They're going to keep going. It's going to be a long season. It's fairly normal now for us, but these big fires are less normal. Yeah. Alright. Thank you. Bye for now.